There are many cartoon shows we grew up loving, but not all of them are as innocent as they appear. In fact, some have dark lost episodes, creepy hidden versions that were never meant for the public to see. They're scary, hard to track down, and some people even believe they were made completely by accident. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Safety. The first one we're going to talk about comes from SpongeBob SquarePants. I know that might sound surprising because SpongeBob is usually a fun and silly show. But if you really think about it, there are already plenty of weird and slightly creepy moments throughout the series. The lost episode is called Red Mist. It focuses on Squidward's deep sadness and his struggles as a musician. And the way it ends is honestly disturbing. Now, let's take a look. At first, it seemed like just another normal episode of SpongeBob, but the longer it went on, the creepier it became. I know for sure I wouldn't want to stumble across this by accident, thinking it was just a regular episode. Now, for our next Lost Cartoon episode, let's check out this video that explains everything.
Let's talk about the Lost Mickey Mouse episode. So in this episode, it starts off with an old black and white cartoon of Mickey Mouse. He's just walking down a street. And at first, everything looks normal. There's no music, just the sound of his footsteps. But as the video keeps going, things slowly start to change. The background behind Mickey starts to look weird, like the buildings are warping or melting. Mickey himself also changes. His usual smile disappears, and his eyes start to look really empty or dark. As he keeps walking, strange sounds start playing. At first, it's just static. But then it turns into really unsettling noises, like distorted music or even what sounds like faint screaming. The longer the video goes, the more messed up it gets. The background completely breaks apart, and Mickey's face becomes almost unrecognizable, like he's in pain or angry. Some versions even show flashing images or disturbing visuals in between. Eventually, the video cuts to black, then the episode continues, but now Mickey's face looks super twisted and horrific. This keeps going till the end of the episode.
We all know Mickey Mouse as a cheerful, fun cartoon character. Even the classic Steamboat Willie version is adorable. But this lost episode, it was absolutely terrifying. I could hardly believe how creepy it was. It didn't feel like Mickey Mouse at all. And it's not just Disney. Have you ever watched The Amazing World of Gumball? Well, believe it or not, that show has a lost episode too.
The lost episode of
Gumball.
So this episode is called The Grieving. I just want to say this, please scroll because there is G or 3 if you have a weak stomach. I suggest you scroll.
Things are starting to get really creepy. So let's jump into part 2 to uncover the rest of the story.
The lost episode of
Gumball.
So this is part 2? Because the last video was too long. I just want to give you a warning if you don't like blood or 𝗀𝘂𝗃𝗃𝗃 bodies, or if you have a weak heart, I suggest you Why that's not the real video is because I found it off YouTube. You can see that Darwin and Annis are 𝗀𝘂𝗃𝗃𝗃, and in the classroom, Gumball he committed slip and slide, if you know what I mean. That's all. Bye.
This lost episode had such a dark and unsettling storyline. I'd never seen anything like it before, and honestly, I don't think Cartoon Network would ever create something this disturbing. It really makes you wonder who actually made it and why. Now, our next lost episode takes us all the way back to the original Tom and Jerry cartoons from the 1950s.
The lost episode of Tom and Jerry, Tom Basement. So we all know the cartoon Tom and Jerry, where you can see a cat and a mouse. The cat named Tom liked to chase the mouse named Jerry. Even though Tom liked to chase Jerry, they were still friends. But once, there was one episode where Tom cut the Jerry head with a knife. Here's how it looked like. It may be too creepy and disturbing for those people who watches this, and the episode was deleted from the TV shows. Stay safe and follow for more.
Just like the Lost Mickey episode, this one is really old. The clip comes from a deleted episode, and it makes me wonder how many people actually saw it before it disappeared. It's the kind of thing you'd never expect in a kid's cartoon, especially one from the 1950s or 60s. And now, we've reached our final lost episode. This one comes from Barney and Friends. The video you're about to see shows an episode that the creators of the show seemingly tried to hide from the public.
There is a creepy lost episode of Barney that a father swears he caught his kids watching. One day he was looking at the TV guide when he saw that it said a lost episode of Barney was going to air at 7 p.m. He asked his kids if they wanted to watch, and they said yes. They all sat down to watch it, and the theme song started playing, but something wasn't right about it. It almost sounded like the song was being whispered. The episode started as it usually did, the kids holding the Barney doll that suddenly comes to life. But when Barney started talking, he sounded slightly weird. It sounded like two people were talking at once. His normal voice and one that sounded darker and scarier. And suddenly he said,
Hi kids, today I'm going to talk to you about death.
So one of the kids asked him,
Barney, what's death?
He then chuckled and said,
This is.
with his face suddenly turning angry, his teeth growing long, and then he eats the child. And then he proceeds to chase all the other children around, trying to eat them throughout the rest of the episode. And then at the very end of the episode, he sang the I Love You song as if nothing happened.
I've never really been a big fan of puppets or Muppets. They've always had a slightly creepy vibe. But this episode? It made them downright terrifying. If I had stumbled across this as a kid with no warning, I probably would have been scarred for life. Some of these lost episodes are just a little unsettling, but others are genuinely horrifying. I've seen my share of banned episodes before, but luckily I've never run into ones as dark as these. Have you ever seen or heard of a lost episode yourself? Let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. To celebrate reaching 1,000 subscribers, I'm giving away $2 via PayPal to one lucky winner. Just comment on this video with a wish, anything you like. And a lucky number from 1 to 99, both are required to enter. And I'll randomly pick and announce the winner in 3 days. Thank you so much.